Today, we will be watching rare footage of natural phenomena that were accidentally captured by eyewitnesses' cameras. You're watching the Eternity Lab channel, the laboratory of eternally relevant content. Some technological accidents, combined with natural forces, are so insane that it's hard to believe they are real. Imagine this. In the Polish port city of Gdansk, powerful winds pushed a massive crane structure. Gusts literally sent it sliding down the tracks into the water. Quite an impressive fall, right? There comes a moment when we realize how fragile our civilization is compared to the power of nature. Hail is a common phenomenon, but not when it's too big. Otherwise, rain turns into a natural disaster. Interestingly, in ancient times, people believed that loud sounds could stop a storm, so they would fire cannons when a hailstorm was approaching. We do not know if it helped. This is why it's best not to take chances and stay indoors when the weather is really bad. A sudden gust of wind can change your plans en route. This video will truly allow you to feel the full force of Hurricane Ida, which struck the state of Louisiana in 2021.
We're getting close to the eye right now. We're starting to lose all the roof. It's unbelievable.
A brave eyewitness still finds the strength to comment on the filming, even as his own property is ready to fly away.
You got this tractor trailer that's coming. Tractor trailer right here. Oh!
Right now, roofs are beginning to be torn off houses. It is incredible how powerful the wind is. It flips containers like cardboard. There is no real way to prepare for such a squall. This wind only intensifies. According to meteorologists, the hurricane's speed reached over 140 miles per hour. Just imagine what it is capable of carrying away. I hope that guy was sheltered under a sturdy structure. Now we understand where the rumors about UFO beams came from. Just watch this lightning show. The energy of a single lightning bolt is enough to boil a pond or shatter an entire tree into splinters in seconds. This stunning fiery rainbow is a rare type of refraction of sunlight when flat hexagonal ice crystals align horizontally in a cloud. Who would argue, isn't nature the greatest artist? After a storm, nature sometimes rewards us with amazing gifts, a rainbow that almost seems close enough to touch. We see a massive sandstorm approaching the city of Aswan in Egypt. These epic storms can carry millions of tons of sand and fine dust particles. This is how they travel across oceans from the Sahara to the Caribbean Sea. The best sign that winter is ending is when the ice cracks and the frozen river comes to life. Poetic, but incredibly uncomfortable. Every spring, nature puts on a spectacular show called the Ice Breakup in Illinois. The entire flow solemnly floats down the river. Even when the ice cracks and melts, the thickness of the ice floes can still exceed 6 inches. Here, you can see the dramatic break of the Perito Moreno Glacier in Argentina. One of the most inspiring sights does not necessarily mean that everything is fine with our climate. Either the avalanche had a carefully planned agenda, or that vehicle has a lucky number.
This is fine.
An avalanche is relentlessly approaching, and we realize that the landscape was designed by nature specifically for it, not for a picturesque view from a cabin. The apocalypse can arrive in this way too. We observe an avalanche in the Alps. Its speed can reach more than 65 feet per second and carry hundreds of thousands of tons of weight. That is why avalanche-prone areas are constantly monitored by specialized organizations like the American Avalanche Association. I think if the eruption of a volcano were predicted to the exact day, tickets to this show could be sold for a high price. All the nearby hotels would turn into observation decks. What starts with smoke ends with fire, as it should. Some of Earth's most majestic and powerful shows are volcanic eruptions. Of course, it's better to watch them from a respectful distance.
Flow on the street. This is the road to the Blue Lagoon. And the new lava will flow over the road. Look at that. And they rebuild it. They rebuild a new road. At the road to the Blue Lagoon.
And then comes the time to observe the aftermath. The sight is shocking. It's not ice, but lava that can turn a landscape into a barren desert. Roads have been buried and the lava is still smoldering. It is such a shame that nature decided to spend all that potential asphalt on destroying roads instead of building highways. Waves. One can endlessly watch the waves of the Atlantic Ocean crashing against the shores of Portugal. This breathtakingly beautiful place is also known as the Devil's Mouth. When a flood occurs in a Russian metropolis, it's not a reason to stop public transportation.
Вообще похую.
Southern Spain is known for its dryness, but a random storm can turn the streets into raging rivers. Mountain rivers in Switzerland are known for their wild temperament during floods, so their banks are reinforced with stone barriers in case the current brings an uncontrollable pile of logs. The same anomaly occurred on a river in the famous Swiss valley of Emmental. The cause of the torrential flow was a sudden change in the weather. First, there was a long drought, and the riverbed dried up, and then heavy rains came, and all the logs, branches, and debris that the water could carry from the river bottom were swept away at once. This is why living right by a river is dangerous. Just because there hasn't been a flood in 100 years does not mean it won't happen today. When a storm with hail causes a flood, summer turns into a hellish winter, and roads have to be cleared with shovels again. This is one of those cases where you really have to choose a different route. Heavy rain in North Carolina completely washed away a section of the road that was 40 feet long. Over 4 inches of rain fell in a short time, and local rivers began to overflow. They started by flooding beaver dams and then broke through a network of drainage pipes, triggering a chain reaction. And so an innocent stream turned into a powerful torrent that ate up part of the road like a piece of cake. Landslides. Landslides are some of the most dangerous and unpredictable events in mountainous areas. The scariest thing about landslides is the uncertainty. You never know when and where they will stop. Builders became witnesses to a powerful mudflow. Usually, working in an area with a difficult landscape involves many risks. Usually, in movies, creepy creatures emerge from places like this. Shall we wait a little longer? Hardangervidda is a mountain plateau in western Norway, the largest high mountain plateau in Europe, reaching up to 5,240 feet above sea level. It is home to a national park with incredibly beautiful views. But when the mountains become restless, a rock fall from the summit can turn into a real stone bombardment. Plants. Plants also demonstrate the power of Mother Earth. This is one of those cases where nature quickly takes over abandoned things. Any empty space is filled with life. It's a mystery how this tree survived. It has almost lost its connection to its roots. And this hanging tree does not even touch the ground. Apparently, it is sustained spiritually. It is a heartbreaking sight to see how ancient and mighty olive trees are consumed from within by fire. They were set on fire deliberately for a good cause because the entire olive plantation was threatened by a bacteria nicknamed the olive grove killer. In Italy alone, millions of trees could die due to the infection. The strain quickly spreads through insects that carry the virus from one tree to another. If a tree is already infected, it must be destroyed along with neighboring groups. Catch a big fish or a small one, or a lot of little ones. Oh, thank you. A fish can end up on the shore for various reasons. For example, dolphins sometimes drive schools of fish into shallow water, and strong currents can suddenly throw the whole school ashore with a wave. An incredible spectacle performed by humpback whales, but this is just their unique way of feeding. They create underwater nets of air bubbles, and these spirals, rising to the surface, surround schools of fish, providing the whales with plenty of easy prey in one place. This way, they do not waste time assembling large portions. Plus, whales execute complex tasks in a team approach. They are truly efficient hunters. Abundant food means survival for them, as their stomachs can hold anywhere from 10 to 1,300 pounds of food. This amazing effect is not caused by a natural phenomenon, but by microorganisms. Thanks to the bioluminescent properties of plankton, we find ourselves in a fantastic world. The glowing sea takes your breath away, and the glow is alive. The size of the plankton is less than 1/4 of an inch, but these tiny lights shine brightly when something disturbs them. The waves of the surf or a touch. Excellent psychotherapy, right? It turns out that the legends of dragons are pure truth. Only over time, the monsters have shrunk.
Wow! Whee! Fantastic!
It's amazing how nature built coordination into birds. When a flock gathers in a tree, you do not expect such a fountain of emotions. Scientists believe that this is how migration begins. Someone has to signal, and this tree apparently serves as a meeting point.
Wow! Short fit, but a sweet fit. Peace.
This is not a ball of butterflies, but a bat party. Before their night hunt, they circle in front of their daytime refuge, seemingly waiting for the latecomers to all embark together on a fearsome Valkyrie flight. Imagine being inside that cave at dusk when they wake up. The owner of this car needs a personal weather forecast. If in northern countries fishing championships are organized on ice in winter, then in Asia, they have to conduct a peculiar regatta in muddy water.
Don't know, but there's a hole, and all the water's draining into it.
This lake in Oregon is called Lost Lake. Indeed, you could not think of a better name. It is located in a natural park near Mount Jefferson, and every year this body of water undergoes a remarkable transformation. Winter streams turn it into a full-fledged lake, but in the spring, almost all the water drains through a 2-foot-wide hole, essentially causing the lake to disappear. The reason for this is a unique area formed by ancient volcanoes. Beneath the lake is a network of channels known as lava tubes. When there is a lot of water, these tubes fill up and maintain the water level. But once the streams stop feeding the lake, all the water drains into this natural drain.
Lost Lake, Oregon. About an hour and 15 minutes from Salem, Oregon. Worth the adventure. Great place.
You can see such whirlpools during tidal floods. The wave begins to swirl because waters with different characteristics mix. This is not ice or snow, but deposits of sea salt. A real burn is when everything melts, not metaphorically, but like cheese in a frying pan. In such weather, it would be perfect for grilling steaks without a fire. Why don't we use solar energy to its full potential? You never know where and when the next nature show will happen, but always remember that your life is worth more than any spectacle. Do not risk your life for impressive videos. See you in the next episodes on the Eternity Lab channel.
Flow on the street. This is the road to the Blue Lagoon. And the new lava